Have you ever noticed how New Year feels like the same broken promise every year? Millions of goals written down, expectations built, and by February, everything returns to the same place. But what if I told you there's a secret to turning the next year into everything you've always dreamed of? No, it's not about goals. It's about spiritual renewal and alignment with your divine purpose. Are you ready to discover how to change your life from the inside out? New Year is not just about dates or fireworks. It's about a quiet call from God, an invitation to renewal, growth, and transformation. But let's be honest, how many times have you started the year full of plans, only to watch it all fall apart within a few weeks? That happens because we focus on the superficial, while true change begins in the spiritual. In this video, we'll dive deep into what this renewal really means. I'll show you how to release limiting beliefs, connect with your life's purpose, and use the energy of this transition to shape the future God has prepared for you. But be warned, if you're looking for shortcuts or quick fixes, this video is not for you. Here we talk about true transformation based on faith and action. Stay with me until the end because you'll learn the steps to a life aligned with divine purpose. This is the moment to free what holds you back and create a year full of meaning and abundance. Let's get started. Additionally, explore readings that nourish your faith and bring clarity. Books like The Purpose-Driven Life by Rick Warren or The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle can be valuable tools. If you prefer something more direct, spend time reflecting on Bible passages like Proverbs 3 verses 5 to 6. Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. Practical actions also involve letting go of what no longer serves you. You know that habit that pulls you off course? Maybe procrastination or too much time spent on social media? Replace it with something that uplifts you like a walk outdoors, family time, or a moment to plan your goals. Remember, every action that brings you closer to your purpose is spiritual. When you live intentionally, something amazing happens. The ordinary becomes extraordinary. Even the smallest gestures, like a smile for someone or a word of encouragement, gain profound meaning. And over time, these practical actions become the fuel that drives your faith. But what happens when the journey becomes challenging? That's when trust and faith show their true strength. Have you ever noticed how New Year arrives with a mix of hope and anxiety? It's almost like a silent call, a reminder that something greater is waiting for you. But here's the point. True spiritual transformation doesn't begin out there with fireworks or promises made at midnight. It begins within you, at the moment you decide to align with the divine purpose God has placed in your heart. This isn't just any year. For the chosen ones, this is the chance for a complete renewal. Spiritual transformation requires the courage to face what you'd rather ignore. Think of something simple, that weight you feel when remembering a mistake or a promise you didn't keep. These are shadows that insist on following you. Write this down today. Ask yourself, why am I carrying this? How can I release it? These uncomfortable questions are the beginning of a deep alignment. After all, you can't fill your life with something new if the space is already occupied with old baggage. What many people don't realize is that small actions hold great power. How about starting your day with a moment of silence? It doesn't have to be complicated. Just sit, breathe deeply, and ask, what does God want to show me today? Isaiah 43 verse 19 says, "See, I am doing a new thing. Now it springs up, do you not perceive it?" This is the essence of transformation, opening your eyes to what God is already doing in your life, even if you haven't noticed it yet. And the most amazing thing is that as you embrace this journey, you realize that every small step matters. Transformation doesn't happen in a single magical moment, but through a series of conscious choices. And this leads us to a question that needs to be asked. What are you holding on to that you should have let go of by now? The energy transition is like a breath of renewal, a divine invitation to leave the past behind and embrace a new cycle. But let's be honest, how many times have you started the new year promising changes that never happened? The problem isn't in the promises, it's in what you're still carrying. Think of your life like a backpack. What's inside it right now? Past pains, limiting beliefs, fear? That's the baggage that needs to be released for you to move forward. Nature gives us a clue on how to face this transition. Look at the trees. They let their leaves fall in autumn without resistance, trusting that spring will bring renewal. And you, what do you need to let go of? Perhaps it's the guilt for something that didn't work out, frustration over unmet expectations, or the fear of trying something new. A simple practice is to write a letter to yourself about everything you want to leave behind. Then, tear or burn that letter as a symbol of release. But this transition doesn't only happen emotionally, it also requires a spiritual component. Try starting your day with a prayer or affirmation. I release what no longer serves me, and I receive the energy that God has for me. Close your eyes and visualize this release as a light flowing out of you. It may seem simple, but it's in this moment of intention that realignment begins to take place. Because God is already ready to act, but He waits for your permission. And as you surrender to this process, something magical happens. The weight you felt begins to disappear, and in its place, clarity emerges. But this clarity isn't an end in itself, it's just the beginning. The real question is, how can you use this renewal to heal what still holds you back? Healing begins where denial ends. For many, New Year is just a change in the calendar, but for the chosen ones, it's a time to confront the wounds that silently guide their lives. It's not about ignoring the pain, but looking at it with honesty and courage. Ask yourself, what limiting beliefs are holding you back? Perhaps you've learned to believe you don't deserve prosperity or that failure defines who you are. That's the invisible prison we need to dismantle. Reflecting on these issues doesn't have to be a dark process. Take a notebook and dedicate 10 minutes today to write, what do I believe about myself and my life that may be limiting me? When you externalize these ideas, they lose their power to control you. Combine this with practices like meditation or reading Bible verses that bring healing. For example, read Matthew 11 verse 28, "Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest." This divine promise is a reminder that you don't have to carry everything alone. But spiritual healing doesn't happen all at once. Just as a physical wound needs time and care, the same applies to the emotions and beliefs you want to transform. There will be days when you'll feel like you're moving backward, but that's part of the process. Every small victory, every decision to free yourself from what holds you back, is proof that you're on the right path. Don't rush, trust in God's timing. And as you move forward on this journey, something profound begins to emerge. A sense of lightness, of possibility. It's as if a veil has been lifted, allowing you to see your life with new eyes. But what to do with this new clarity? This is where connecting with your divine purpose becomes essential. Discovering your divine purpose is like lighting a lantern in the middle of darkness. Suddenly, everything makes sense. But here's the truth that few understand. Purpose isn't something you find outside of yourself, but something that awakens from within. It's found in the small actions that reflect who you were created to be. Think about the moments when you felt deep peace or genuine joy. Perhaps when helping someone, creating something meaningful, or praying in silence. These are clues that you're on the right path. Connecting with purpose requires intention. Take a few minutes in the morning to reflect. What actions today can align my life with what God wants for me? It could be something simple, like taking time to listen to someone, meditating on a Bible verse, or planning your goals with clarity. For example, if your purpose involves serving, start by helping someone close to you. Purpose isn't about grand gestures, it's about consistency. When that connection feels distant, it's time to seek reorientation. Pray, meditate, or read inspiring texts that remind you of your why. Passages like Jeremiah 29 verse 11, which says, "For I know the plans I have for you, plans to prosper you and not to harm you," can bring clarity in times of uncertainty. Additionally, surrounding yourself with people who share the same pursuit of spiritual alignment can strengthen your journey. And this is where purpose becomes a transformative force. It's not just for you but to impact others. Every time you act in alignment with your life's mission, you inspire and influence those around you. But purpose without practice is merely an idea. So, how can we transform this connection into actions that shape the future? Spirituality is not something theoretical, it must be lived. It is in practical actions that alignment with your divine purpose truly manifests. We're not talking about drastic changes, but small steps that, when repeated, create a profound transformation. Think about the power of starting your day with 10 minutes of silence, dedicated to listening to your own soul or praying for clarity. This simple practice can set the tone for your entire day, helping you align with your life's mission. Another powerful habit is the practice of gratitude. Take a notebook and, at the end of the day, write down 3 things you are grateful for. This not only shifts your mindset, but it also strengthens your spiritual connection. Additionally, explore readings that nourish your faith and bring clarity. Books like The Purpose-Driven Life by Rick Warren or The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle can be valuable tools. If you prefer something more direct, spend time reflecting on Bible passages like Proverbs 3 verses 5 to 6. Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. Practical actions also involve letting go of what no longer serves you. Do you know that habit that pulls you off track? Maybe procrastination or spending too much time on social media? Replace it with something that edifies you, like a walk outdoors, family time, or a moment to plan your goals. Remember, every action that brings you closer to your purpose is spiritual. When you live intentionally, something incredible happens. The ordinary transforms into the extraordinary. Even the smallest gestures, like a smile to someone or a word of encouragement, gain deep meaning. And over time, these practical actions become the fuel that drives your faith. But what happens when the journey becomes challenging? That's when trust and faith show their true strength. Faith is the foundation of everything, but living with trust is not always easy. How many times have you found yourself questioning whether you were on the right path or if your prayers would be answered? The truth is, faith isn't about having all the answers, but about believing even in the uncertainties. It's like planting a seed. You don't see immediate growth, but you trust the process. This trust is what keeps the chosen ones steady, even when everything seems to be working against them. When faith wavers, return to what is essential. Remember stories of perseverance in the Bible, like that of Job, who kept his trust in God even through the greatest adversities. In your life, this might mean praying with more intentionality or seeking inspiration in moments of doubt. For example, recite 2 Corinthians 5 verse 7, "For we live by faith, not by sight." This simple affirmation can be an anchor on stormy days. Building trust is an ongoing process. Try a practical exercise. Write a list of situations where God has already answered your prayers or guided your steps. Review this list whenever fear or doubt arises. Also, surround yourself with people who share the same spiritual pursuit. Joining prayer groups or even watching content that strengthens your faith can provide the encouragement you need to continue. And this is how faith becomes a compass, guiding you through uncertainties. Every challenge you face isn't an obstacle, but an opportunity to strengthen your trust in something greater. And when faith is the foundation, it becomes the driving force to build the future God has already prepared for you. The question now is, how can you transform this faith into choices that shape the future you want to live? The future is not a mystery, it is the reflection of the choices you make today. God has given you free will to shape your life according to His divine purpose. The big question is, how are you using this power? Often we get stuck in patterns of self-pity or delay important decisions, but it is in the present that the future is built. Every thought, every action, is a seed you plant in the soil of time. What are you sowing now? Creating the future requires intentionality. For example, if your goal is to live a prosperous life, start by educating yourself on finances, practicing generosity, and aligning your actions with spiritual values. If your goal is to find peace, create daily moments for prayer or meditation. Imagine your life a year from now and ask yourself, what do I need to start doing today to make this a reality? Don't wait for perfect circumstances, start with what you have. But it's not just about you. The future you create impacts those around you. When you act with purpose and faith, you inspire your family, friends, and even strangers. Think about the impact a small gesture can have, like offering help to someone in need or sharing a word of encouragement. In this way, you're not just building your own future, but contributing to a collective future aligned with spiritual values. And as you plant these seeds, you realize something extraordinary. The future is not a distant destination, but a reflection of the present. Every choice you make today carries the potential to transform your life and the lives of those around you. But how do you ensure that these choices are aligned with divine purpose? That's where emotional and spiritual preparation becomes essential.